I've studied this. You really need purpose. You really need to have a job that's fulfilling. And a lot of people hate their job, and I didn't want that for myself.
Welcome everyone to the Closing Table Podcast, real accounts from real estate professionals brought to you by WindowStill. I'm your host, Kat Schooler, and today I'm sitting down with real estate agent Marlene Hall. Marlene is out in Northern Virginia and is an Air Force veteran. And today we talk about how her background as an Air Force veteran taught her the grit she needed to be successful in real estate, having a decade-long career. We also talk about the importance of providing value to your community and the power of the thank you note. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Marlene, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's kick it off with how you got started in real estate.
Well, first of all, thank you, Kat, for your time today and patience with getting this set up. Yes, so real estate's kind of in the blood. My dad was a real estate investor, and he got his real estate license just kind of avoid the fees, and he owned a lot of property in the DC area. And my grandmother was a realtor in the DC area. She was very successful. I think I'm basically the same person as my grandmother was. And then my brother's also a real estate investor. So after my Air Force career, I was an Air Force officer for 8 years. You have a lot of purpose from that kind of career. And, I just government contracting and a government job, it wasn't filling me with purpose, just a lot of bureaucracy and frustration. And so my brother's like, what about real estate? And then I was just determined to make it work. And I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And I really like it.
That's awesome. And yeah, 10 years is kind of amazing for this career when you look at kind of the dropout rate and things like that. And I imagine maybe some of the kind of grit and things like that you have from your background in the Air Force and things like that kind of helped drive you to success.
Yeah, I think I watch a lot of Instagram, like most people do, because it's very addicting. But the main thing I see on there with these motivational things is this grit. If you have to be determined, like nothing's going to stop you. I was just determined, like nothing's going to stop me, because it's hard. This job is hard, and then my job is to overcome obstacles and challenges and help my clients. But it's challenging, and you learn, and you grow, and it's really exciting and purposeful.
I love that. So while we're kind of on the topic of challenges, like what would you say is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in this career?
I think the biggest challenges is just how to find clients. That's the main thing, because my job basically is to find clients. So if you don't find clients, you're not going to make it. I mean, you won't survive. So that's probably the biggest challenge.
And then how do you go about that for you personally? Are you mostly referral? Do you, advertise? What kinds of things are you doing to find people?
Sure. So I live in Park Fairfax, which is a historic neighborhood right outside Washington, D.C. It's a hop, skip, and a jump to the Pentagon. And I farm it. There's 1,600 units there. So farm is I just send postcards to them every month about the market. I try to come from value, not like look at me, look how great I'm doing. Just add value to people. And then I'm very active on social media, which is kind of to my detriment a little bit, because a lot of times you get into the mindset of everyone else has your life better than yours. But it's also a very powerful tool, unfortunately. So I'm involved in many neighborhoods, and I try to be very active in these neighborhood Facebook groups and just keep adding value and all these real estate groups. And then I have a CRM. It's like our database. And so it's Buffini. Buffini is this guy who came from Ireland, poor, didn't know anybody. And he said, I come from service. And he's now a multimillionaire, has his own private jet. But he has his own CRM. So every month, 100, actually more than that, 100 plus of my clients get an email from us. It's very value based. And then my 100 best clients who refer me, they get a letter. So if I need to be calling them, that's one thing I'm missing out on. But just kind of constantly, you're always on, just constantly out there. So
Nice. And so when you say value based, like what does that mean?
Value based is like understanding the market and help them with resources like contractors or resources, just being a resource for people and being there for people and helping them.
That's awesome. And I imagine like being so close to the Pentagon and things like that, you do see a lot of people come and go, maybe every couple of years. I also read you specialize in military relocation. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a designation certification in it, but I'm also a military veteran, so kind of have that touch for that.
And I'm sure because you have that personal experience in the military, in armed forces, that you have that really like inside look into military relocation?
Yeah, so basically with the MRP, with the Military Relocation Professional Certification, I'm kind of an expert in the VA loan. Unfortunately, they're very hard to be accepted, but it's the market's shifting to more to a buyer's market right now. So we are seeing more VA loans being accepted. But I am an expert in the VA loan, and I kind of understand the special needs of the military because it's hard. You're moving to a new city, you don't know anybody, so I just try to be a resource and like, what do you need? How can I help you? And I also speak the language. I'm a little bit more direct. I'm not. I'm just direct. I'm honest. I'm genuine. I'm not like a BSer. So I think people appreciate that. And I'm not trying to force you to buy something. I tell people, buy or rent. I'm just here to help you. Whatever. Just let me know how I can help you. Because regardless, I'm going to be fine. So,
That's a great mindset to take with that. So
yeah.
speaking of working with your clients, like what is it like for someone to work with you? What is that initial meeting like? Like what kind of questions are you asking? What should they come to you with?
So I try to come out of the gate really fast because real estate is all about speed. And I had a client one time. We waited till like I don't know a couple days, and they're like, "I want to look at this place," and it was gone. So I
Mm,
just try to explain to people like I'm not trying to pressure you, but real estate is all about speed. Because if it's a really nice place and it's priced really well, it's going to go really fast. Try to get to know them, do an intake, just talk to them, and then I immediately get them on a search, and I immediately get them set up with a pre-approval. I have a preferred lender that I work with, and I'm also working with a transaction coordinator now, which has been really helpful. And we just try to be very responsive, answer all their questions, and get the search going and start looking as soon as possible.
sweet. And so what do you think people need to know when they're going in to the home search these days? Because the market has been changing a lot. I think maybe some people are waiting and hoping for it to change some more. Like what would you tell buyers?
I mean, I don't try to pressure people, but I'm a big believer in buy as soon as you can. I really like Barbara Corcoran. She's on that Shark Tank show, but she's like, buy as soon as you can. And I really believe in that philosophy. So just don't time the market. Buy. Just get in, get in, get it in. There's another lady I watch. I forget her, Linda Baker. She's a Coldwell Banker, a realtor in Atlanta. She's like, buy. Because she's like, in 16 years from now, it's going to be really hard for your children to buy. So just buy as much as you can now. You can help your children later on with real estate. My dad put 4 kids through college because of real estate. Like none of us had any debt coming out of college. That's how you take care of your family, take care of yourself. But you can appreciate and use that money for equity. And yeah, just don't time it. Just buy.
With your family kind of in real estate investing and things like that, were they like a big resource for you, as you were getting your business and your career started?
Not really. I think families can be kind of tough, with the
Mm.
boundaries and everything. I mean, they definitely encouraged me to get into the business, but then they're not really in the business. So I have my own mentors around me. I have a coach that helps me. So I call them all the time, and I have mentors I can talk to, but they're not quite in the business in real estate in Virginia. So not quite, but they did encourage me to get into the business and buy real estate.
That's awesome. And so since you're working with a coach, I love that. I think it's so important for entrepreneurs to have someone, especially in something like real estate, which can be very solo, right? It can and I think that can be like difficult when you're bouncing on ideas off yourself constantly. What is like the one piece of advice maybe you've gotten from a coach or a mentor that you keep going back to that has been super valuable for you?
I think the key is just consistency, but staying in touch with people is consistent, providing excellent value, and just understanding everybody's different, how they approach things. Like engineers are very detail oriented. So they want numbers and figures. So you really need to understand how people operate and cater to them. So I cater to how people operate and upfront understand what their expectations are and how I can meet their needs. But the main thing is just consistency and just, yeah, staying in touch with people.
I think it's so interesting how agents and I've talked to several people who've kind of said this that you have to kind of get good at reading people.
Yes.
And is that something that just comes with time? Do you think because you have a background in public relations, like that has helped you be better at that?
I also did improv comedy in Chicago and DC, and I recommend anyone doing that, anyone in sales, to do improv comedy because it's all about being in tune with the other person, like mirror, like what you're doing. Like I should be mirroring what you're doing right now, or matching the tone of how people are talking, and just using the words that they're using, or repeat back to what they're saying. It's a lot of improv comedy there. Being really in tune and listening, and I've made mistakes. It's when I shouldn't have lost, but there was a guy. He's like, I want numbers and figures, and I just said, well, it's too soon for that because the market, we're not quite ready there. And I should have given him numbers and figures. Instead, I was talking about other things with the house. I lost him. So he went to another agent who gave him numbers and figures. So you really need to understand what's important to people. I mean, they're the ones that are driving the bus. But just mirroring, listening to how what they're saying is important, and then giving them what they're asking for, not what you think they need. I should have lost that one, but my mistake. You learn. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll never make that mistake again. I love that. That is the most unique piece of advice I've heard on this podcast. And as someone with a theater background, I am here for it.
it's funny though. I guess I'm getting really good at it because a friend of mine, he's another realtor. He puts a lot of Catholic posts from this saint, and he's like, "Bless all the children." I was like, "Are you having a baby?" And I was right. I just knew. He's like, "How did you know?" I was like, "Well, you're saying bless all the children. It just seems kind of random." He's like, "Yeah, you're the only one picked up on it." But it's like I'm trying to really catch it, clue in on people. So it's fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're really developing that intuition.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any like success stories that really stand out to you when you've kind of been helping people, buying or selling?
Yes. There's so many, but I can only remember the recent ones, of course. I had a family. They were in Korea, and they were trying to rent. And we talked to them like I don't know a couple months before, and I hadn't heard anything. And all of a sudden, I get this contact. They contact me like, "We need to buy, and we're going to be here in 30 days, and we need to close in 30 days." And we did it. They saw one house, and we put an offer in. There was a bidding war, so I changed the offer, and we won. And as soon as I got to the States, they were in. So and they just gave me this most glowing review online, and they're just so grateful. And like, we will refer you to anybody, and but it worked out perfectly. And we used the VA loan in the bidding war, so they're very, very happy.
Oh, that's so great to hear. You worry when, people are on such a tight deadline, especially when you're kind of hearing, about these bidding wars and these kind of multiple offer situations, and you're hearing people, offering on house after house after house.
It's funny though because the other offer was from a friend of mine. And I'm like, dang it, you made us like go up on our offer and everything. I'm like, thanks a lot, but it praised fine, no issues, everything's great. What happened is a lot of people can't afford to buy, and this is what I'm talking about. You really shouldn't wait because affordability is getting worse and worse. It's really sad. My heart kind of hurts for people. But yeah, what's happening is people, so they weren't able to even find a rental because it was so competitive because people who couldn't buy were trying to rent. And so I hope anybody rents. I don't care. And so we're finding bidding wars for rentals. So I beat out 5 other offers for a rental, and it's happened a couple of times. But you have to fight.
In going above and beyond for your clients like that, how do you continue to find the drive to show up time and time again?
I find it fun, kind of, because I was a competitive athlete growing up. I'm 5'10", so take advantage of that. So I was a competitive athlete growing up. I think it really had a lot to do with it. And then being a military officer, and I went to UVA, and I always wanted to win and be the best. Oldest child. You know how that goes. So I find it fun, and it's just and then you just to come up, and then you want to win. So it's yeah. And so what I do is like if they didn't have and I'm not trying to brag, but if they didn't have a realtor, they wouldn't have got the place because they don't know how to win. So there's one place we were the first offer in on the rental. So I'm like, okay, we got it. Oh no, we're gonna have an open house in a couple of days. I'm like, are you kidding me? An open house for a rental? So I told my clients go to the open house. So they did, and they just they kissed up to the agent, and then we wrote a love letter. And I just kind of stay in touch with the listing agent to figure out what they wanted, and that's how we won. It's all about relationships too. You got to build a relationship with the listing agent, and yeah. And again, what do they want? Let's find out what they want.
That's great. And so, in terms of having relationships with other agents, like, what are you doing to build those relationships, to maintain those relationships?
I need to do a better job on that one. That's a good question. This guy the other day, he hosted my open house, and he does ninja selling, which I need to do. The guy that founded it still holds classes in Colorado, so I want to go do that. But he wrote me a thank you note. No one's ever done that before for letting him host my open house. I mean, I was just so blown away by that. I do a lot of thank you notes. That's Buffini as well. We get thank you notes to send out. But he wrote me a thank you note because of that. I gave him a rental listing. But just I need to be going to more events where the other realtors are and just kind of get to know people and write thank you notes, which I have not been doing. And then just do a good job with people and be responsive, and that's how you kind of build good rapport. I just did a second deal with another realtor. Yeah, he was amazing. So the relationships really help.
I think that's so cool because I think is so small in the grand scheme of things, but so impactful, right?
Yes. No one does them. Nobody
Hmm.
sends thank you notes. And I try to send thank you notes constantly to people because people want to be appreciated and cared about. And I think I love where I live and I have really nice neighbors, but everyone kind of keeps to themselves. And my mom, I was talking to my mom about it. She's like, yeah, well, they're tired. They were at work all day. They don't want to, they have their own friends. And so it's just, you really have to make an effort to connect with people and, go out of your way and stuff. I try to send like, Starbucks gift cards to people for their birthdays now. And, let people know because someone did that for me recently. I showed a house to a guy, and I hate when this happens. And then the agent shows up. He's like, "Oh, we have 3 offers already," and I'm like, "What?" And so the buyer felt really bad, and so he sent me a Starbucks gift card. I almost wanted to cry because I just felt so appreciated. No one's ever done that. I'm like, because it's a lot, it's hard.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I
It was
love
really
that.
beautiful. Yeah,
So I'm curious, what'd you call it? Ninja selling?
it's called Ninja Selling. I don't remember the guy's name. He has classes all over the country. I need to take it. Um,
What is the essence of it?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well,
I
we
just
all
know
have
I just know
some
the guy
Googling to
Nathan.
do.
I know the guy Nathan. The way he sent me a thank you note for letting him host an open house. I'm like, you're my guy going forward, and he did such a good job. Like the updates and following up with people. I mean, usually people do the open house, you don't hear anything,
Mm.
and he was very meticulous and gave me updates. And he's like, "Can I take your open house signs out?" Which was a mistake because I already have someone that does my open house signs, so I kind of messed with the process. And he didn't pick up all of them, and so
Mm.
she missed one when she brought it back. It was not her fault, but I said next time let the person who did it take care of it. But I mean, he's went above and beyond. That's I think ninja selling is just about going above and beyond, and that's how you make your mark. And you stand out above everybody else. So that's what I want to do. It's just go above and beyond people, take good care of them. So
I think it's a beautiful story because it's a great way for agents to connect with other agents. You know, it's a great example of how to be there for, other people in this business.
yeah, it's all about service. That's what I love about Brian Buffini. He just really connected with me on that level. Just it's about service. It's not about me. It's like how can I help you? Taking care of people because it's stressful and they're scared and just be there for people, help people, and the money will come. This was such a beautiful moment yesterday. There's a State Department couple. They're coming from, I think, Kyrgyzstan, and they have 3 cats. On Facebook, this woman said, "Could you help me with this rental listing?" I said, "Sure." And then I reached out to these people who want to see it. I said, "They're not going to take 3 cats, but I can help you find a place." And so I took them out yesterday in the blazing heat. And she said, I restored her faith in humanity.
Aw.
She's like, "You're the only person that offered to help us." And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. I won't always help if I'm overwhelmed, but I just, I have things are a little slow right now." So I said, why not? So I took them and showed them 4 houses, and I think they found a house. So I think they're good to go now. So
Oh, that's so great. That's so
yeah,
good to
that was a
hear.
very kind comment. I didn't expect that, so it was really nice of her.
And it's a great reminder of even if you don't think you're making a big impact, that you can be.
Oh, you are, totally are. But they're stressed. They're here. They're living in a hotel. They don't have a car, and the Uber driver was late. He didn't know where he was going, and so I said,
Mm.
"Oh, okay." When they got there, I said, I usually don't do this, but they don't. I said, "I'll drive you," and I just took them everywhere and took them home, and we found a place. I think they're gonna be good. So
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
yeah,
What do you think is one of the biggest myths people believe about real estate today?
they think it's easy. They think it's a quick buck. We don't deserve what we do, but it's so intense what we do. There's so much psychological going on, psychological issues, mindset. I mean, it's a lot. And the thing is, I've developed these contacts and these systems in 10 years. So I mean, you're dealing with someone who's very sophisticated now what she's doing, and that makes it really much smoother. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just you're paying for my systems and my contacts, and I have and I try to go above and beyond. Like we're gonna power wash and we're gonna mulch and we're gonna put flowers outside and we're gonna put sod down because it's all about the curb appeal. And sometimes I don't see that, but it really makes an impact. It increases your value and chances of selling faster. And I really encourage people to stage. That really increases your value and you sell faster. So, but I have all those contacts for them, so I kind of handle everything.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
With being in this industry for a decade, you've definitely become this major resource for all of your clients.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it's kind of like a lawyer. Like you hate them until you really do need them, and you're like, oh gosh, they when you start using it, then oh my gosh, they really are helping. But you don't really understand that until you're in that situation where you need one. But we play a vital role in the community. Like our impact on the community is financial impact and job impact. I mean, we play a huge impact. Anytime someone buys or sells a house, is a huge impact in the neighborhood and the society at large. I mean, we play a major role. So it's very, I love that. It's like a spider web. We just touch everything.
Yeah, and it brings it back to, you kind of your service-based mindset.
Yes. But I mean, I employ so many people like title and lender and um, the county and power washers and landscapers. And you're empowering so many people. So I have a maid service, and I never expected this, but because I give her so much business, she cleans my house for free twice a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because she's like, you're the main source of income for me. Yeah,
Wow.
because what I do is I just go on social media all day, and then I go on next door, and people are like, I need a maid. I'm like, Anna, 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 Anna. So I just get her name out there constantly.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And it's so wonderful that you can lift others up in that way.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really exciting career. I really enjoy it. Sometimes I'm like, usually I like it.
In terms of your community, what is your favorite thing about working in your area, about helping people, buy and sell houses in your area?
It's never the same, and you're always being challenged and growing, and it just kind of constantly is pushing you to get better. It's challenging. You're not stagnant. When I had a government job, I have 3 master's degrees, and out of fear I took a very low level government job, which is great, but it wasn't challenging enough for me. I was just dying inside. I've studied this. You really need purpose. You really need to have a job that's fulfilling, and a lot of people hate their job, and I didn't want that for myself.
And I'm curious, when you were making the transition, did you just cut off from your 9 to 5 and jump both
Yes,
feet into real estate? Oh, wow. Were you ever afraid of not having kind of that net?
all the time.
Yeah.
You had that fear all the time. I mean, I'm selling 3 homes. I already sold 2 homes this month. I have one more closing this month. I have 3 homes, but right now things are a little slow. So I'm like, that's why yesterday I was like, I'll help you. But
Yeah.
yeah, all the time. But Brian Buffini talks about burning the ships. It's Cortez. Cortez was this explorer, and he burned the ships. And it's like, we're not going back to Spain. Like, this is it, guys. We're going here. So you burn the ships and you move forward. But yeah, all the time. I think that's everybody's fear in real estate. And so I'm trying to keep building my systems, and the TC's helping me kind of, I can focus more on finding more clients, but I like to buy more real estate so I can have more income coming from that. So yeah, but all the time, that fear doesn't go away.
What do you think is the most important thing in mitigating that fear? Do you think it is systems? Do you think it's, kind of support in your business in terms of having more people?
Yeah, it's support, systems, and action. You gotta just keep taking action, keep going out there. You really, really eventually want to just kind of be able to depend on your sphere of influence. It's like people that have already worked with you and can keep referring you. That's the main thing you want to work on. So, but yeah, because once you have that in place, you're usually pretty good. And I have one person I have a couple people that are constantly referring me. You just got to keep working on that. The system of support.
That's awesome. Well, Marlene, we're about halfway through 2024.
Okay.
So I'm curious, did you set any goals for this year? How are they going? What is the rest of the year look like for you?
To be honest, I haven't done a good job in setting goals, but ideally I'd love to do 3 to 5 a month sales. I'd like to get more certifications, like the broker certification, just kind of do the ninja selling, stuff like that. But I need to work on that. I'm still kind of focusing on work, but I do need some more goals. But 3 to 5 goals would be great. 3 to 5 sales a month would be great.
That's awesome. And you have time, right?
I have
You're
time.
always growing.
That's right. And if
Yeah.
you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? And I've had so many jobs where I was just stagnant. It's the worst feeling in the world. Like you're making good money, but I'm just existing. I want to do more with my life. So
I love that. And I love your mindset, around pushing yourself and up leveling. And I think it's really like refreshing for a lot of people to hear, someone who wants to drive so hard, for themselves and their community.
yeah, it's very rewarding. I think that's what we're here for, just to help each other. That's really what we're here for. Purpose is a purpose-driven life. I forget who wrote that, but it's a purpose-driven life.
Excellent. Well, Marlene, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to direct people how they can find you and work with you?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. I very appreciate it. I'm at 703 It's Realtor Marlene Hall, marlene.hall@gmail.com. And I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, but I can refer you to agents all over the world. Just love to help you in any way I can. months.
Awesome. Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you for your time today, Kat.
Thank you for listening to the Closing Table podcast, brought to you by WindowStill. Please be sure you are following our podcast on Apple or Spotify, and if you're part of our YouTube audience, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying this podcast, please feel free to leave us up to a 5-star review or maybe even a comment. It helps us find more amazing listeners like you. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you next time.